Menteri Rambak Jelau Konrad K. Sama buat undang-ilam kaliang persya Dr. Mukul Sama mentakesingi kelayatirnya hayang dorbar halol kapang balawan ra de KMLA Kampati Kamiani di Syira kebriru ka khon jong Dr. Mukul Sama kabala dawa bakayeng dorbar kadai bensim nagarai bandawa na kasakal pedeng banwengno ya kejing penkela ya ka kendon ke baai lat ikibriu nabar banrungkam ha ke Meghalaya Rural Bank hadim melaksak kenter hakidkhot kaliang persya Konrad ulah sangak kelai ke sarkar barim bailam do Dr. Mukul Sama ke baklim simkhya bandawa na ke sarkar pedeng ban sange ya kini gijing ailat ikibriu banabar ban yakun kam ha Meghalaya Rural Bank namar bakalaja ha kapor bekidon ha kabor bat kila adat menta anda kila syong ha kaliang persya ulong bak gijing penkela ya ke kendon lale da ke sarkar pedeng ha ka arf khandai tarik banai leber ar jakatnyo ha kapor bak sarkar barim kadang don ha kabor hendai balai kam sim lale ban persya ya kini ha kete kapor Hapedeng kejingannya jengki, lapin tanda no doba Charles Pingrop, belong, ba kejingatainnya kamdei ban peni jengklun. Ulong bola kham yau karta ban yu Konrad K. Sama bat yu Dr. Mukul Sama. Bat ula ajengmut bakin singap ya kejing ajengmut belong bajajai. Kamiani kebelawan ra ya kani kamat. Kebelaweng no Khamadin, kalong ba ketenat finance ke sarkar pedeng. Kelapan kela ya ke kendon jangka Regional Rural Bank, ak kat kendai spa nyu penriu. Hakabala busu ya kendon baki beriu nabar kibamnang ya kin kibriu jong keno kejaka kidai bansha hikai hinriu benai banang balada kimpat nang ken penjelan biang syakan riu benai bat kani ka kendon kalak kta ikibriu jong kani jela hakabala wan prung kiweipat bandrungkam nabar jela
cater to the banking needs of the poor, illiterate, uneducated and underprivileged sections of the society of different regions of the country. And whereas the language proficiency clause in the local language was appropriately inserted in the relevant section of the Act, in the true spirit of the original intention of the Act. And whereas the Meghalaya Rural Bank has effectively dealt with the challenges of language barrier due to proficiency of all the employees of the Meghalaya Rural Bank in the local language. And whereas the Meghalaya Rural Bank has also provided substantial spaces of job opportunities to our local job seekers over the years, as the proficiency in local language clause of the Act provided exclusive space for our local job seekers. And whereas Ministry of Finance, Government of India, New Delhi, has amended this particular clause, diluting the original content and intent of the Act, thereby opening up floodgates for appointment for those who are not proficient in the local language, thereby both inconveniencing the rural poor who are not proficient in languages other than the local language and also depriving the job opportunities of the local job seekers. Now, therefore, this House do resolve to urge upon the Government of India to restore the relevant section of the Act wherein the proficiency in local language should remain as essential pre-qualification for employment in Meghalaya Rural Bank. To actually enable people who are not proficient in the local language. Now, as a result of this amendment, it is adversely going to affect two groups of people in our state and also other states. Number one, the rural population. Now, when I say rural population, we're talking about the poor and the uneducated, the most vulnerable sections of the society. These people, the rural population, they know only the local language. Now, the government is trying hard to give them access to banking facilities, to include them to be a part of the economic activities. But when the rural population, if they go into the banks and since they know only the local language and the employees and the officers are not being able to communicate with them, then they feel alienated. And anyways, they have inhibitions and hesitation to go to the bank. So that is number one. Number two, our local unemployed youths, our educated youths but unemployed, who are the job seekers. Now they had the upper hand because they have the proficiency in the local language. That is a unique characteristic which the other candidates from different states will not be having. So that upper hand which they had is being taken away. If we look at the recent recruitment which happened in the rural bank, usually the recruitment process happens in the headquarters, which is in Shillong, but surprisingly it happened in Guwahati this time. So the recent recruitment for officer scale 1, 27 successful candidates, only 2 were local. For office assistant, with 20 successful candidates, only 10 were local. So we can see that more than 70% of the available job was taken up by people from outside the state. So therefore we can already see the fallout of this amendment. Now, we have seen time and again in this House number of honorable members talking about the challenges of employment. Now, employment has always been a big challenge for the government. So, though this jobs, the number of jobs available in the Meghalaya Rural Bank may not seem substantial in number, but over the years and with many branches being opened up and the banking network increasing their operations, it will lead to many opportunities for the local youths, the job seekers. So, but with this amendment, it is somehow being taken away.
Elaborately, I think we all know what is happening. It is one way of depriving our youth, the job seekers, robbing the job of our people. It is a very, very serious issue. Very, very serious issue. Shall we allow Government of India to temper upon the rules just to quietly take away and steal away and rob our youth from the otherwise jobs which could have created space for these job seekers?
So the Meghalaya Rural Bank was established on the 29th of December 1981 under the nomenclature Ka Bank Nongkidong Rikasi Chentia. However, with effect from 1st May 2007, the nomenclature was changed to Meghalaya Rural Bank. The bank was established as a scheduled bank under the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934 and in accordance with Section 3 of the Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. Sir, the objective of the above act is to develop the rural economy by providing for the purpose of development of agriculture, trade, commerce, industry, and other productive activities in the rural areas, credit and other facilities, particularly to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans, and small entrepreneurs, and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. The Meghalaya Rural Bank is supported by the central government, state government, and their sponsor bank, which is State Bank of India, with a stakeholding respectively, central government 50%, state government 15%, and the sponsor bank, which is State Bank of India, 35% respectively. So the Meghalaya Rural Bank is guided by directions given by the central government in consultation with Reserve Bank of India in matters of policy involving public interest. In any issue, if any issue arises in matters of public interest, sir, the decision of the central government is final. The management, general superintendence, direction, and management of affairs and business of the bank is vested with the board of directors of the bank. Sir, since the inception of the bank From 1981 up to 1991, the recruitment in regional rural banks were done locally. There were no proper guidelines, policies for recruitment. Recruitment was therefore made as per directions of the Board of Directors, comprising of 2 directors from the state government, 2 from sponsor bank, 1 each from NABARD and Reserve Bank of India, and 2 non-official directors nominated, 1 each by the state and the central government. From 1991 up to June 1998, there was a ban on recruitment in regional rural banks. Sir, Government of India came out with recruitment policy wide notification dated 29th July 1998, incorporating the clause for proficiency in local language as approved by the board. The recruitment was made through Banking Service Recruitment Board. In 2010, Government of India came out with a revised recruitment policy wide notification dated 13 July 2010, incorporating the clause proficiency in local language. Recruitment was made through Institute of Banking Personnel Selection on an all-India basis. Sir, it may be noted that the power of the board was discontinued from 2017. When the staff selection process is done by the Institute of Banking Personnel Selection, IBPS, common recruitment process for regional rural banks, the process is coordinated by the nodal regional rural bank with the help of NABARD and Institute of Banking Personnel Selection in consultation with appropriate authority. In 2017, government came out with the Appointment of Officers and Employees Rule 2017 for regional rural banks. The 3rd schedule of the rules provides for proficiency in local language with notes as follows. Note number 1, candidates who have studied the language of the state in Standard 8 or above in boards of education or school recognized by the government, or candidates possessing any certificate to the effect for Standard 8 or above will be considered proficient in that language. Note 2, candidates not having proficiency in local language at the time of selection will be given a time of 6 months from the date of joining to acquire the proficiency. Subpara 2 to Note 2. The period of 6 months may be extended by the board for a further period of 6 months, which may be extended by a further period of 6 months. At a time by recording the reasons in writing, provided that no such extension shall be granted beyond the probation period. So, reservation policy as per Government of India notification number 36034/5/85-ESTT-SCT dated 27th October 1986 is followed for officers and assistant level post as reflected below. For officers, SC 15%, ST 7.5%, OBCs 27%. This is a national policy, sir. Office assistant, SC 1%, ST 44%, OBCs 5%. Office attendant, SC 1%, ST 44%, and OBCs 5%. Sir, the new recruitment rule is affecting job prospects of local people in the state. The period of 6 months may be extended by the board for a further period of 6 months, which may be extended for a further period of 6 months at the time for recording the reasons. Sir, I remember this is very similar to what happened in Garo Hills District Council. In Garo Hills District Council also, it was extended 6 months and extended 6 months and extended 6 months again and again and again. So yes, I also find it a point that we need to look at. This kind of extension after extension is something that is, yes, a matter of concern. There's no doubt about it. And sir, I saw a lot of emotional points that were mentioned. I'm also emotional about the subject. And mentioning that we are not bothered about this issue, and the fact that Government of India is snatching away the rights of the tribals. So it's mentioned out here, scheduled tribe will get 44%. This has been done by 1986 rules. So there's no question of scheduled tribe in general being affected. But yes, we are concerned about our local people being affected. Some members mentioned about scheduled tribes being affected as a whole, so that is not the case. So I think that would be incorrect to mention like that. And sir, we have been mentioned and we have been told that this government has done nothing about this. So let me tell the House that this particular rules that were amended and brought in was brought in on 29th of March 2017. I would like to know what was done earlier. If people were so concerned about it at that time, I think a resolution would have been passed and maybe this issue would have been resolved. So why do they have to wait so long? When these rules came out in March 2017. So that does not mean we're not concerned about it. We are concerned. But that does not mean you politicize this issue and try to blame each other and try to find faults in each other. So I didn't want to bring out this issue. I knew about these rules being amended so early, but nothing was done. But I don't want to talk about it, sir, because I don't like blame games. I want to take responsibility for the issues and try to work forward. So the state government of Meghalaya has taken up the matter with Government of India, Ministry of Finance, Department of Financial Services, to see if the rules and the conditions for recruitment for various posts under Meghalaya Rural Bank can be amended to ensure that only candidates that are already proficient in local language of the state be preferred for the appointment. And this letter has been written by the Chief Secretary himself, sir. I have got the copy of this letter. And so we've been continuously following up this issue. But as I mentioned, sir, this is an issue that is affecting the whole country. This is not about, just simply one of the areas. It's a rule that is all over, sir. And therefore, for government of Meghalaya, sir, to directly change it will not be possible. And we have moved with Government of India. And Government of India, sir, has not, till date, has not responded right now.
Sir.
But however, the government will continue pursuing, and this is an important issue to us.
Sit idle. That is how I have tried to articulate. I have also mentioned that this issue was there since 2017. But at the official level, when things are not happening, which is on record, which is in the course of discussion as well, should we not come up with a better aggressive engagement with Government of India? And this is the way. We'll have to take a resolution. Even if we don't adopt this resolution, let the government come up with a resolution. We will support it. We will support it. You come up with a resolution tomorrow. Tomorrow is government's business. We will all support this resolution. It's a question of really fighting against Government of India, which is depriving our youth from this available job. That's the idea. So kindly don't misinterpret what we have actually articulated in this other house.
So there's no question of misinterpreting. My only point is that when there is so much of concern about us not doing enough or not moving forward, my only point was when this rule was amended in 2017, that also in March 29th, sir. At that time, the Honorable Leader of Opposition was the Chief Minister himself. If the letter is sent in 2018.
You have
2018,
on 6th
sir,
of
I'm replying, sir. I would request the Honorable Leader of Opposition to
6th of March.
allow me to reply. I did not interfere in your reply.
Responsibility is a continuous
Sir, I did not interfere in his reply, sir. He should not interfere in my reply. So yeah, I should be allowed to speak, sir. So my only point is, when this particular amendment was made in 2017, all I'm saying is that why are we trying to make this into a political issue? That's all I'm saying. Stick to the point, stick to the issue, but saying that we are not doing enough when you yourself have not done in 2017 when you had the chance. But we wrote the letter now in 2018 as soon as we took over. Sir, I don't want to get into this kind of a debate because this is not of any use. I'm only trying to clarify that, sir, I should be allowed to finish. I should be allowed to finish.
Just 1 minute.
Please allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. So therefore, sir, I think it's not correct. I am very much a positive person. I like to take things positively. I don't normally react when these kind of things happen. But as I said, when I find that, this kind of blame game is going on, so this is something that I don't appreciate, sir. And that is why I would urge the opposition, let us not get into this. If you want the facts to come out, sir, I can bring out thousands of facts, sir. We know almost all the facts. Minister, last time, Leader of Opposition was mentioning about so many things about different issues. So we know all the facts. So therefore, it's not correct. And I don't like to bring out the blame games. But this is not the point. This is not the issue. The issue here is that we as a government are committed and sincere about this issue. Sir, we have taken up this issue. We are moving. In the past, it was not moved. And I am requesting the opposition to kindly bear with us. And we are engaging with Government of India to ensure that this moves forward. And we try to find a solution, sir. So they should bear with us, sir. That's my request.
No, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I fully endorse the views of the Honorable Chief Minister. But let me put it on record. It is not the intention of the movers and the supporters of the motion to say that the government is not aware of the matter. And we will not like to play politics in this particular issue. Let's not discuss that at all. But since you have mentioned that you are going to take measures, then we can go forward. There is nothing political in it. And I would like to request both Honorable CM and I think I'm elder to you all, I'm more like your elder brother. So kindly sometimes listen to me, although I'm just an ordinary member of the House, but at least honorable. So take my advice sometimes. Let us not throw big bats, because that doesn't augur well for the decorum and dignity of this House. So my advice to both of you all, you're much younger to me, please. And let us play politics.
Okay, now, since the minister in charge...
Time is up, sir.